Well, hello there, everyone. Greetings, gang. Welcome to the 30. I am Patrick Jackman, your host of this weekly live broadcast. And I'm also the founder and principal of the Jackman Group LLC right here, a training and development company. And we want to thank you for joining the conversation on yet another day. The 30 is a weekly live broadcast where we speak live to leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners, personal and professional development experts. And each week we bring on some dynamic guests, and this is going to be an awesome show. Make sure that you like and share this broadcast. This episode, we're traveling all the way to one of my favorite states in the U.S., the state of Hawaii. Actually, we're going to Oahu, and that's one of the islands. I'm telling you, we are all over the place. We're national. 2 weeks ago, we were in South Carolina. Now we are in Hawaii, and then in a couple of weeks, we'll probably be, I don't know, someplace else. But anyhow, this is the 30. Our topic today is life coaching for kids. And I'm so much looking forward to chatting with my guest, Violet. And I told her I hope I don't mess her last name up. So I'm gonna hold back on that, right? So it is Shimoko. So I hope I got that right, Violet. When I bring you on, if I didn't, you can chastise me. But make sure that you put your comments and your questions in the comment box. And if you miss any of our previous shows, I want to make sure that you can catch up with them. You can go to the Jackman Group LLC YouTube channel and make sure while you're there that you subscribe to the channel, right? So tonight we'll be talking about life's coaching for kids. Let's get this party started right now. Well, greetings again and welcome, welcome. Hello, this is the 30. My name is Patrick Jackman. I am the host. Our focus for today is life coaching for kids. My guest is Violet, and she is the creator and facilitator of NorthStar. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring Violet in. And, Violet, how are you?
I'm great. Aloha.
Aloha, that's right. Aloha. I forgot that one.
Thank you for having me on your program.
Oh,
Appreciate
not a problem. Thank you for joining us, and I want to thank Kara, like a
it.
kudo for connecting us as well. She's the glue. She's the great
Yes.
connector of people.
Mhm.
Violet, tell our viewers who you are, what you do, what is North Star. So give our viewers some idea.
Okay, well, I've worn many hats in my life. Entrepreneurial, I come from an entrepreneurial family. So I've been involved with a few businesses. I've been a community servant. And I think my forte was motherhood, being a mom. And after my son left, I kind of extended that experience by getting into life coaching. And it had a spin to it because I wanted to work with kids. And
Hmm.
although I do work with people of all ages, I think my niche is with children. And so what I did was I opened an after school program for girls. It was a leadership and character education program. And that was about 12 years ago. And subsequently, I went through um, a divorce, cancer. I mean, all this stuff that life just sometimes just deals you. And so anyway, I think I've just found my passion because of all those experiences. And although I mentioned earlier I work with all ages, I've been blessed to work with kids and in middle school. And so I just returned from living abroad for about a year ago, and an opportunity to create a program for middle schoolers in Honolulu, about as inner city as they get.
Hmm.
We have a school right smack dab in the middle of downtown, and so the principal had asked me to, just help him because he got charged with, you know, bringing the school up from, the bottom of the barrel, and we've just been having a great time thinking out of the box. And so what happened? You mentioned Kara.
Hmm.
Kara had asked me to develop a program, and NorthStar is basically, it's just a life coaching program, but it focuses on the person finding out who you are. And so what I did was I modified NorthStar so that it would resonate with kids. And so essentially, it's introducing, personal development, self-awareness, self-discovery, self-worth, to kids, who are 11 and 12-year olds.
Hmm.
And it's actually pretty exciting because they're just at that age where, they're not, they're just out of elementary, and they're not as cynical as they could be. I mean, they have their personality, but it's just such a wonderful time to approach them with this awareness. And just to kind of cap this part of the description of NorthStar off, is that I found that it's that piece that fits right before career pathways.
Okay.
So there's a terminology called career pathways in the DOE, the Department of Education system, and they introduce students to select career selection. And so before they're asked, hey, what do you want to be? I explore with them by engaging them in conversation who they are and their purpose for being. And it's actually been very rewarding that way because it's a very short 6-session program, but the unintended benefit, I guess, is that many of them want to kind of just hang out with me for a while. So I think, it's called NorthStar, but I called the class the U Lab.
Okay.
And so they
Cool.
really know that it's the study of you and the study of them. And so, the topic is great. I mean, it's all about them. And so that's kind of in a nutshell what I'm
I
doing.
like that. Uh, in terms of you lab, it's about you. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's great. So, how many students do you have now in the program?
Okay, so for the year, I have 133 students that I hope to
Wow.
get through, like
133.
sixth graders.
Wow.
But I can only, because as I was developing it, I realized that I couldn't have more than 3 students at a time. And so that's why
Okay.
the sessions are only 6. And so I get them through. I just, I make sure to tell them it's an introduction because I do cover a lot.
Hmm.
But what's really cool is that they drop in after school or during lunch, and they just want to hang out. And I think all it is, just having that desire, that passion to make them feel that they're loved and they're cared for. Because I ask them questions that, I mean, it's all about them, and they're just startled. Like, you're asking me what I love,
Hmm.
and what I do is I encapsulate my experience with them in a short summary, and they're astounded that I know so much about them.
Wow.
And I, so it's a lot of fun. And it's not rocket science. It's just really connecting with them. And so I hope to get through 133 kids, but yeah, that's it's a challenge, but I'm up for it. And if I don't make it, it's because a lot of them in this school don't value education.
Sure. Sure.
And so the truancy rate, the tardiness, the attendance, the grades are really at a level that we really need to bring up for them. Because, and then, just introducing to them how important it is, that they get educated, they graduate high school, because a lot of them think they're doing it for us, for their
Mm-hmm.
parents,
Mm-hmm.
and when they find out, I really appreciate being in this position because I can speak to them and kind of give them the parents' perspective from a third party, and they start, to appreciate their parents a little bit more, and their teachers a little bit more, and it's all about connecting at a human level. Like, this is nothing about academics; it's more qualitative, but it'll give you the competitive edge. And I explain what the competitive edge is. I said, smart is everywhere these days, but the ability to connect with people is, just priceless. And so I have NorthStar, and I also have Life Treasures, which is
Okay.
it's just, it kind of partners up really well to complete the program.
So you mentioned I think I missed in terms of the length of the time. What is the length of the time of the program?
So I have 6 sessions that
Six
are,
sessions.
yeah,
Okay.
6 sessions that are about 50 minutes. And sometimes it's a little shorter because the school asks us to excuse the students a little bit earlier for lunch. and,
Okay.
so, and so sometimes I'll lose 10 minutes, which is pretty significant.
And you are there how many days a week? Is it one school right now?
Just one school right now, because
Okay.
what I did was I created the program, and I'm actually piloting and beta testing it right now, and
Okay.
doing it simultaneously, and it's working out really well. So I'm there 4 days, and I'm limited by the number of hours that the DOE will allow for a person like me. So I'm
Do
not
you
a
foresee it expanding in terms of time or in terms of schools on the island or
what I
even other islands?
yes what I hope to do, and this is all I have to thank Kara for this, because what I did was I created the program, and it was in manual form,
Hmm.
the booklet, and then she said, "You've got to do a PowerPoint by." I'm like, "Oh, PowerPoint," and I'm like so low tech. And so I thought, okay, and I'll do a power. So I created a PowerPoint. Actually, it was awesome because it helped me to be more concise
Hmm.
in that format. And so what I do is I have the PowerPoint, which I present to the kids, and I tell them that you don't have to take notes because we have this booklet that
Okay.
I provide them with. And so now what I'm doing is, because it is effective, it's, they basically come out of the class knowing that they can spit this out, I hope, that they were born for a reason with special gifts that they're going to share with the world to make it a little better place than when they arrived. And
Mm.
they get that, they understand that they have a special gift. And so now that I know that it does resonate with these sixth graders, and I have eighth graders as well, I'm trying to create an operations kind of manual so that I can teach, train other people to do what I
To
do.
do
If you
it.
have a passion for kids and you want to communicate, and it's so simple, they just want to be heard.
Right.
And I've got some pretty toughies, but even the toughest ones, whose father is in prison, mother's not here, and he's being raised by his blind grandfather.
Mm.
He gets in trouble all the time. Um, he asked to come visit me, and so I'm kind of setting aside some special time for him because he really needs some attention. But even the toughest ones want to be heard, and I
Want to
think,
be heard and want to be loved.
yeah, absolutely, and they get it.
Yeah.
And so it's so rewarding for me. I'm just loving what I do. I always tell my son, I have to pinch myself because, being able to do this. And I thank the principal for, thinking out of the box and giving me this opportunity.
That's great, Violet. This is an awesome program. If you want to connect with Violet, if you have any questions or comments for her, go ahead and drop it in the comments in the chat box in the comments field, and we'll bring it up to make sure that she answers some of your questions while we're live here. So let's talk about now. You mentioned that you hope to expand it
Mhm.
and scale it. Is it online or is it done in person? And
It's
is
done
it
in
your
person.
goal to have it online?
I have, like I mentioned, as low tech as it gets, but as Kara has challenged me many times over the last few years that I've known her. I mean, it's something. I'm a testament to you can do anything if it is what you love and it's your passion. Because even doing this with you, Patrick, speaking in public is actually terrifying for me. But when I just have this message about the kids. I mean,
Mm.
they're NorthStar is great. I love the adult program. Where I can just connect with people of all ages. But why not start when they're little minds full of mush, where you
Hmm.
know instead of after the fact, we're helping them before the fact and introducing these simple concepts to them. And
And
yeah.
Violet, what are some of the like? Give us an example of some of the questions that you ask the kids, because we're talking about life coaching for kids, and my guess is Violet out of Honolulu, Hawaii.
Mhm.
And what are some of the questions that you ask the kids, and some of the responses that you get back?
Okay, so I start with the student profile. And so
Hmm.
basically it's real simple. It's like, well, their name, their birthday, their ethnicity, um, the number of siblings they have, um, and then when I get through that rudimentary stuff, just that their background, then I start asking them simple stuff like your favorite color. Okay,
Hmm.
so then your favorite foods, and then at the end, because there's a whole bunch of questions that I ask on the student profile, I ask if you could have anything you want now, what would that be? And you know, this question kind of chokes me up, but there's sixth grade, 11 years old, right? And the one that comes to mind the most for me is this one child who said a new life.
Mm.
And I mean, that took me aback. And another one was parents who don't abuse you. Okay. And so those are really, really difficult to see, but I try to help them through it, in a way, because I'm working with them in a group, but I try to broach that topic on how, these experiences, even if we have hardship, they all contribute to what we will be ultimately. And we can use it as gifts
Hmm.
or we can use it as curses,
Mm.
So that's just one example. And then one of the more, I guess, uh, the questions, if you flip the page, it's just, and I go into more questions to kind of get where they're at. Like, do you know who you are? And one of them is, if you could invent something to make life easier for people, what would that be?
Mm.
And it's just an introduction to that better place mentality, that
Hmm.
philosophy of what can you do? Because we all come with special gifts.
Yes.
Whether
Yes.
it's just, I have a beautiful smile and I make people happy when I smile. Or these kids are from immigrant families who are mostly, I mean, a lot of them are homeless, and a lot
Wow.
of them, yeah, it's, I mean, just having a new home is,
Hmm.
but one of this was amazing. Was if you could invent anything that would help people, what would it be? And it's a card, so my father doesn't have to pay for things.
Mm.
And so what happens is they have, I don't know what those cards are called, but it's basically a card that they use to buy food or so
Hmm. Hmm.
they're so they're very money centric in many ways, obviously, but so I talk about money and
Yeah.
finances and how much it costs to live comfortably in Hawaii, and kind of give them the reality of it because, you know, God, a high percentage of the kids will say, what do you want to do? I want to go to college. And I'll ask them,
Hmm.
why? And, oh, to be a doctor. So, okay, what kind of doctor? And they don't know. They're saying, they're answering by what they think I want to hear.
Sure. Sure.
And when I start exploring college, because a lot of them want to go to college,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah, but they find out, I said, so how are you going to pay for it? And they're like astounded. You have to pay for college?
Yeah.
So those are the kinds of things that I talk about. And I said, you don't all need college. Depends on what you want to be, you know, but be authentic to yourself. That's why we need to find out who you are. If you want to be a chef, go to chef school. You don't have to go to
Sure.
college. So those are the things. And then when you actually talk to kids in this demographics, being a doctor might be a physical therapist. It might be an assistant who just pushes a wheelchair. When you explore what's in their head and try to get as literal and as specific, and to see what's in their head, it might not be a doctor.
Sure.
Yeah. So, that's really fun for me having that conversation.
Yeah, it sounds like if you're doing some great things there, Valley, and you've hit your stride because you and I have known each other now for over a year. Again,
Yeah,
through
maybe
Kara.
almost two, I think. Yeah.
It's been 2 years already.
Yeah, because I remember meeting you when I was here last.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
it's been 2 years. Time flies.
I know, definitely over a year.
Yeah, and knowing of your background from being an entrepreneur for all these years and the things that you've gone through and experienced in your life, do you think all those things prepared you for where you are now and what you're doing with these young people?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because I think I'm a late bloomer, shall
Hmm.
we say?
Hmm.
And I think it took all those experiences, to really be able to, because I've always been somewhat of an empath, but I think sometimes you can be empathetic and compassionate in an enabling way, and I don't want to be an enabler,
Sure.
And so I think through all these experiences, I can easily say, you can see people saying, "Oh, I feel so sad for you." I will never say that. Well, never is not a good word, but I just want them to feel that, for as horrible as some things may seem, they actually end up being gifts.
Right.
Because even my cancer, I think, oh, it was a pretty tough time, but
Hmm.
along with it came gifts, like what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, um,
Purpose.
yeah, and I think we can't introduce life purpose, meaning, reason for being alive, the meaning of life. We can't introduce it too young. But I
Yeah.
really like the sixth grade, 11 to 12 years of age. I like that age because cognitively, you're able to, have that conversation and dialogue with them. And so, and what some won't get. I had a girl that I actually excused from my class because she had that attitude, like, I don't give a rip.
Hmm.
And so I just said, hey, you know what? I'm going to excuse you, and you know what? You come back when you're ready. Okay. And so then, because her disinterest was affecting the other kid, kids,
Got
they
it. Yeah.
kind of feed off of each other, right? So then after she left, I wrote her a letter and I explained to her, you know, um, in the letter what happened. And so I said, just come back, when you feel like coming back and learning, because, like that age old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appeared, kind of thing. Um, So I left it at that. And one day she walks up to me and she says, "Can I come back?"
Hmm.
And so it was wonderful. And I just told her, I said, Narissa, I know that your attitude towards me is simply because you're kind of sketch about me and you
Yeah.
don't know, but I know that it's that you are uncomfortable. And so you're not sure that if I'm accepting you, but I'm telling you, I'm accepting you. But just in terms of your personality, she is that, I can see that in her where she's a little standoffish. But I think it's because she fears being rejected.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I told her, and then, you know what? You get that big nod. And I said, you know what? the rejection, if someone rejects you, that's their problem, but just be friendly to them, be open, and you'll be amazed what's going to happen. And so, you know what? And some kids I can't talk to that way. Some kids I can. Some kids I'm a little bit more gentle. So, but I think through the dialogue and through the conversation, they want to be heard. And even the most distant ones, over time, I figure about by the third class, they get a sense of, yeah, you know what, I think this is real.
Hmm. Violet, I have a question here for you, and I'm going to put it up on the screen here. And it says, are some of these children in the foster care system as well? Do you also work with the families of these kids? And if so, how receptive are they with your program?
At this time,
Thanks, Patrice.
thank you for the question. At this time, I don't know. I don't know specifically if they're coming from foster care. Most of them, they're that's what the student profile is for,
Mm-hmm.
and I find out that they're either with their parents, their grandparents, or their yeah. I don't get information on foster care, and I
Okay.
and I do not work with their families, but sometimes I've been tempted. Like I've tried to reach out to some because some kids don't come to school. So I've
Yeah.
done that with one child. She just disappeared, and she's really bright. And so I asked the principal for his permission, and he said, "Yeah, please," because they're so short-handed.
Yep.
And so he said, "Hey, if you could do that, that'd be great." So I reached out to the father, and um, I said, Bumi hasn't been to school for over a month. And he said, "Oh," and the reason was he was afraid of COVID. And I said, "You know what?" And I kind of allayed his fears on the COVID thing. And she was back the next week. And so a lot of the kids, where they're from, education. I mean, the dropout rate is at 8th grade. They do not, matriculate, or they do not transition to ninth grade high school.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we're trying to catch them. So if I can get them at 6th grade and they know that they have to graduate, and that's,
Yeah.
I go through, like mission, vision, goals, to dos, and all that. I give them that matrix or that paradigm, and I have them understand that, these are, just in terms of goals, I influence them by saying, graduation is a must, because that's not in their consciousness, that they don't think it's that important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just to put that in their consciousness and awareness, I think, is really important.
Violet, you're doing some tremendous work, and I'm sure the kids are thankful, the parents, our grandparents are thankful, the principal is thankful, and I see this expanding even more. So get ready for it, because it's going to scale. Have you connected with Dawn and her group? Dawn has on the island as well. She has an organization, and she's
Oh,
also a friend
Red
with,
Apple.
Red Apple.
Yes, I
Absolutely.
have.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I
I
have.
see you guys connecting and collaborating in some way
Mhm.
in terms of reaching schools and reaching kids. But fantastic job. I want to thank you
Well, thank
for
you.
taking this up and just deciding to go on your own, right? This is something that you decided to just do on your own. So because we all have some purpose in life,
Absolutely.
and we just got to find out what that purpose is. Some people are born and die without finding out what that true purpose is. So based on your trials and tribulations, you found that
Mhm.
purpose, and that is so wonderful. So thank you.
Well, thank you for saying that, because that's exactly what I communicate to the kids. That we all have a purpose. We all have There's this Japanese man in Kyoto, and he just has this water bottle full of water, and he does art on the ground
Wow.
with water, and people love him for that. So
And
I
that,
use that as an example. And
yeah, and that's his piece, right? We all have a role to play
yes,
in this world. So we
yes,
need to find out what our role is and just get up and just do it, because there's so much, especially young folks. There's so much that needs to be done. So Let's see what Patrice. This is right up her alley here. They can never be too much resources out there for these kids, and no doubt some of them are at risk. So this is a good thing you're doing.
Thank you,
So
Patrice.
there
Thank
you
you.
go. There you
I
go.
absolutely,
So
I'm so fortunate I'm able to do this.
yes, and we are thankful that you're doing this. Maybe this is a program that will leave the state of Hawaii and travel across the
I
mainland,
hope
right?
so. It's all about the kids, and yeah,
So,
it's
as we end, I know we're up on time here. How does someone, if someone wants to get a hold of you, Violet, what is the best way of them reaching out?
Oh, the best way is my email. I'm old school. Not doing a lot of the social media thing, but it's vshimoko@gmail.com.
Okay, I'm gonna put that up
And
here. I
and
think
I
this is
would,
it, right? Is that it?
yeah, exactly, that's it.
Okay.
And I would love to, yeah, I would love to hear from you. And you know what? My program is always like in progress, in process, and
Hmm.
I'm always improving it because I mean, every day the kids would say something to me, because I'll ask them, how can I improve NorthStar? And a lot of them will say, "Oh no, it's perfect the way it is." But you know, it, my point is that I'm always open for improvement because it's all about reaching them, and I always appreciate feedback and critiques.
Awesome.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we're not going to let you off the hook yet because
Okay.
we always do this with our guests so that our viewers can have a more intimate knowledge of our guests. And it's something called rapid fire. So I'm going to go through this really quick and then we'll wrap up. So let's talk about I'm going to put you on a hot seat here. What is your favorite food?
I would say now that I'm this age, Japanese food is healthy.
Jap- okay. All right. And what type of Japanese food is your favorite?
Oh well, sushi.
So,
Like hirashi sushi. I like that. It's
okay. What's
yeah.
the most favorite city that you visited? One that you just says, "Oh, I love this city."
Well, there's many, but I love Tokyo. I love
Okay.
Japan in general.
Yeah.
It's safe, and I love the people and the respect, and yeah, I love the whole culture. And
I
my
would
mother's from Japan,
I
so
would love to visit
it's
Tokyo
yeah. I feel
or
like I'm in a
Japan.
club with all the people who've been to Japan because yeah, it's exceptional for as urban as it is. It's just
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's on my list of places to
Mhm.
visit. Favorite movie?
Um, the Matrix.
The Matrix. Okay. Okay.
I
All
would never
right.
thought I'm kind of a rom-com kind of gal, but I mean, The Matrix kind of lives on in my mind, the depth of thought, I guess.
All right.
Thank you.
And lastly, favorite words that you live by.
Favorite words that I live by, I would say, is to be authentic,
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Be
and
authentic.
genuine.
We
Being
said
authentic and
be
genuine.
real, right? Be real.
There you go.
Don't try to be someone else.
Yes,
Just be yourself.
because you can't be successful being anybody but you. You
Right.
can't, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I hear my wife in my ear saying those same words. Be yourself. Be yourself.
Yeah, it's the easiest, right? It's like, yeah,
Yeah. Well, Violet, I want to thank you so very much. This was
likewise.
fantastic. You have a place here.
Thank you.
Just keep us updated. Keep me updated how things are going. And I know this program is going to expand and explode. So be ready for and get ready for scaling it.
All
Okay.
about the kids. All about the kids.
There you go. There we go. So thank you. This is being a production of the Jackman Group LLC. Next week, we are going to have a young lady that started, and you would love her too, Violet. She started an ice cream
Oh,
store
oh my
and,
gosh, that'd be
and
cool.
yeah, just out of the blue. And she's in her first year, and she's going to tell us how she started it. She went out on faith and just did it. So I'm excited about that. And we have a number of very exciting guests lined up for the coming weeks. And so we will preview those. But until then, Violet, thank you so very much once again. and
Likewise.
blessings to you and your family. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
All
Patrick.
right. You're
Really
welcome.
appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we've been talking to Violet and her program, and that program is called NorthStar. Again, if you want to get a hold of Violet, I will put her information back up here so that you can email her, and she'll be. I know she would be ecstatic to hear from you. So go ahead and do that. And until next week, we will see you. Be safe, right? Be safe. Be safe. Be safe. And we pray that God bless you and your family. We'll see you next week. Deuces.